Okay, so daily life levels, how long do I spend per week? It really depends. Like, ideally would be to try to do half an hour every day and then having like one mass or two mass a week, something like that. So, I don't know, it really depends. But a good rule of thumb is at least mass once per week, I guess. And that question is easy to answer. If you actually look at France history, you can see that France was built by Catholicism, basically. Like the first kings just converted. So the idea of France and the idea of having a king of France was somehow related to the religion. So, and nowadays, we're just like the American culture. Like, it's not exactly the same as the American culture, but the principles and the guidelines are the same. That is to say that, most people are gonna think, I'm gonna have liberal views, and you shouldn't think stuff that is too offensive. Shouldn't think or shouldn't thought. So yeah, these kinds of things. At the level of daily life, how the other religion go with each other, fine. I mean, doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, we just live in the same country. It really doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't. Yeah. Like, we've invited a Muslim to pray in our chapel once, so that's not a big deal. Behavior considered impolite. Well, the thing is that Catholic religion is kind of unique, because although it has a sets of guidelines, it is better for one sinner to repent than for 100 good people to go to heaven in some sense. So the absolute worst thing is somebody who would be at the last kind of without hope and completely adrift and doing very terrible things for himself and others, and he would not have the strength to believe. That would be one of the worst kind of thing. But the thing is, the religion is really more, it's a lot more intellectual than it seems to be. So I don't know how to explain that to you if you don't actually have knowledge of the text, and we would need further discussions for you to understand the principle of that, of the things. Yeah. How does it influence your life? Well, it influences everything, and it influences social life. It influences the way I think, what I'm against. There's a bunch of things that I'm against, and that I know that I can't speak about, because if I do, I'll be basically thrown for having archaic views somehow. So it is what it is. I can't really tell you the differences between the life of a believer and a non-believer. The only thing I can tell you is that non-believers are like absolute non-true believers or hardcore true non-believers. They're gonna have a miserable time, you know. Now, you know, they may say that it's not true, they may not accept it or anything like that, but it is what it is. I don't make the rules, so they're gonna have a miserable time. Now they can tell you and say, no, this is wrong, like, but they're gonna try to distort reality somehow, and that's fine. Yeah, the idea that scientists are like scientists in all the forms are against religions because of science, lack of scientific proof. It's bollocks. It has been debunked. There's a movie about it. There's lots of scientific proofs. Lots of astrophysicists. There's lots of people who actually have been hardcore trying to debunk the science regarding Christianity and Catholic religion, and they have failed. And so by failing, they couldn't say that what they were presented before their eyes wasn't sufficient evidence enough to deny the religion and so on. So there is also lots and lots of philosophers and great thinkers and inventors who also happens to be lots of Christians. So with your question regarding physics and the fact that some of these things are impossible, I mean, I'm pretty sure there have been lots of miracles happening over the years that were technically, medically impossible, and people and doctors and everything actually verifying that, saying this is medically impossible, and it still happened regardless. So the question is not science is what, you know. The question science answer is what is gravity, what is this, what is that, but religion is sort of the why. And so like it's different questions altogether. You can't just say that the what and the why are the same, and like if they're the same, then it loses meaning, right? So I don't think that there's a question about that. I think science is too new to actually have a strong validity over thousands of years, right? I'm not saying that what lasts long have more depth or more validity to it. What I'm saying is that when something is tested and people resonated with over hundreds and hundreds of years, then that means it's pretty meaningful. So therefore we should give it credit. Now, does that mean that I wish that my food multiply itself? No, I'm not stupid either, right? But yeah. Yeah, and there's only old people in the church. That's only is not exactly true. But yeah, lots of older people. And that has to do with their culture. I mean, the fact that they were born in another time, and it was different back then. So yeah, that's why they're still going strong. And then, of course, because they know that death is closer. What would be the ultimate trend of religion in the distant future? I don't know. No idea. Absolutely no idea. I don't know. So, yeah, there it is. I do not know. Now, I think what is going to happen is there's going to be new religion forming with political biases and other things like that, and new cults that are going to be pretty bad regardless. So not a good thing, but yeah, that would be all.